So this weekend I went to a concert in Portland. I didn't really want to go, but I went as a guest, and all people watched, looked at the old buildings. This was a cool old building, the Pioneer Courthouse. I was thinking of what type of pioneers come in and start building their Romanesque architecture, but what really stood out to me, and it reminded me of the expression when maybe sometimes you've heard people say that a building has nice bones. And I think they're talking about this. They come in and just strip a building down, take off all the ornamentation, and you're left with a very, very good, very nice bones of a structure, but it's just missing all of the outside stuff. And yeah, I just thought this was a good example of that. Like, it looks so naked. Everything about this building looks so naked. And it had a cool tower, octagonal tower with, you could see the staircase in there, which was interesting to me. I want to walk up that staircase and see what's in that top part. Maybe something interesting's up there. But no, I'm just a pleb. I don't get to go up there. Was anyone there yesterday? Do you recognize? Here was another cool building. And so I guess I'll just tell a story. I mean, there were a couple interesting people, but I'll just tell one story about somebody in the crowd, a boomer, a guy with large boobs, and he was going on a ranting about, the youngins and their cell phones. And I mean, you can maybe imagine where the story's going. So he was ranting and raving about all the kids. Oh, kids, you go to concerts these days, all those kids, they get all their cell phone out and they just spend the whole concert on their cell phone. And so he was just ranting to the guy next to him. And this was before the concert started. And lo and behold, the concert starts, and we were standing very close to this guy, and immediately gets on his cell phone and starts recording. And then he starts talking to people around him. Oh yeah, I'm getting this for a documentary. As if this guy's, whatever footage from his cell phone at a concert, the same type of footage that he was just ranting and raving about kids these days, as if that's a documentary footage. And so delusional. And it didn't stop there. He just kept doing it. Because at first I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I was like, oh, maybe this is the band he came here for or whatever. Nope, kept going. Each song, bring it back out. And when he wasn't recording a song, he'd be showing the person next to him something on his cell phone. And constant. It got to the point, my wife wanted to go tell that guy off. Like, tell that guy, you were raving about, just tell him he was a hypocrite, basically. I stopped her, though, because I was like, just let him keep doing it. Let him keep doing it. Let him do it the entire show. And it was hilarious how long he did it the whole show. Eventually, we got separated from him, but I assume he continued on into the very last act. I can't say for certain that I saw him, but I can tell you that for 90% of the time before that I actually saw him, he was on his cell phone. The boomer who was going on and on about youngins. And what I noticed about the youngins is that they weren't on their cell phones. The young kids, to me, they looked like they were mostly vibing and dancing and dressing like it was the 90s again. And I mean, every once in a while you'd see them get out and record a song or whatever, but not perpetually online. The only person I saw who was perpetually on their phone was the very boomer who was complaining about it. And I mean, that was the only big story from the crowd. Like I said, the young kids, they seemed pretty cool, honestly, and they were not perpetually on their cell phone. And the worst part, by far, I mean, this probably won't be surprising to people, is just the middle act, out of nowhere, for absolutely no reason. Well, I guess it started off with joking about baby Jesus, which okay, I'm kind of used to hearing stuff like that, and it didn't completely shock me. But then later, he just out of nowhere said F Jesus and went on a rant, and then played a song that was apparently supposed to be about that. And to me, it's not shocking anymore. It really isn't. I mean, it's just stupid. Really, it's so stupid. Do you think you're edgy for saying stuff like that? But all it does is reinforce what the Bible says, and it reinforces exactly what happened to Jesus. When Jesus was on earth, living a perfect life, people hated him. Jesus literally was just a carpenter, living a perfect life, going into temples and letting people know how to interpret the word, and that was enough. I mean, being the Messiah was enough to have people hate him. It's not something that you can, when you're on the side of good, I don't think it's something that you can rationalize. I can never rationalize witnessing the Messiah and wanting to kill him. But that is how these people are. And I mean, immediately when this guy went on his anti-Jesus thing, all I can do is pray for somebody like that. And so that's what I did. I prayed for that person. And I'd cringe at how you're not edgy for doing that. That's not edgy. It's just cringy. You're fulfilling what the Bible says, that the world hates you if you love Jesus. And you're just reinforcing bad stereotypes that this type of music must be associated with Satanism and being against Jesus. That's another thing that I don't agree. Like, I would love it if my wife could go to a show and of the type of music that she likes and not hear bashing things about Jesus. I'm not so fragile that it shatters me and I can't like exist around it. I'm just cringing at how not edgy that is. It's just stupid. How unprovoked it was out of nowhere. What did Jesus ever do to you to make you have to down talk him? Where's the equality? I didn't hear you down talking Muhammad. Okay, and we were in the city of Portland. There were a lot of gay guys at this show. And what would Muhammad do to the gay guys at that show? What would Jesus do to the gay guys at that show? Why do you got a problem with Jesus, out of all people? And these people have the spirit of the Antichrist. That's the only, it's a spiritual battle. And they are on the losing side at this moment. And that's why they hate Jesus. And Muhammad is a fake. That's why he doesn't hate Muhammad. Buddha is a fake. That's why these people don't have hatred in their heart towards Buddha. Jesus is the Messiah, and he lived a perfect life. He didn't do anything to this guy that deserves any of this, and he hates Jesus. That is just more, when I see stuff like this, it's just more proof. That guy did not go up there and start bashing Buddha, because Buddha is bullshit. There's a reason that he attacked Jesus. Well, that's it, I think, for my ranting. I'll just show you the rest of my pictures. But yeah, I mean, that put a sour taste in my mouth for the rest of the show. Very cringy and evil. It just shows you what in my opinion, that's a good discussion for what did Jesus do to that guy? What's wrong with, why not Islam? Why don't you have a problem with Islam? Why didn't you attack all religions? Why is you so hyper-focused on Jesus? And letting people know, hey, the Bible says this, that the world's going to hate you. If you follow the truth, that is Jesus Christ, and that it just shows you when he was here, the same thing happened. Jesus is still alive at the right hand of God, but when he was literally on earth, he did nothing to provoke anger, but was murdered. And so I just see the same spirit here, that going to a concert to enjoy music, and you have to attack Jesus. Didn't go out of his way to attack Vishnu, because it's a bunch of bullshit. Nobody needs to attack Vishnu, because it's bullshit. But satanic people with the satanic spirit in them, they attack the Messiah. Here was a cool building. You know, those pioneers, they're really short on space. They got to cram those buildings in there, how they do in all the places. All the big old world cities have these going underground too. They all have the undergrounds with the little pizza slice, the tiny little pizza slice cities. Cities will have this. Even where I live, we have churches with towers like this. But often they only have like half the tower these days. I live in a city where there's multiple churches that they should have towers like this, but today they only have 1 or 2 floors, and it's just chopped off. Cool building though. This one's like Willy Wonka. And look, 1906, look at how bad. So the Romans knew how to make concrete that lasts for how long? The people in 1906 who came and refurbished this building, in my opinion, this building was probably already here, sitting down, ready to be reclaimed. They come in and they make their concrete in 1906. Isn't Portland concrete even supposed to be like a really famous thing? Why is this already weathered away so much in 150 years? Or less than 150 years. I was doing some bad rounding math, but you know, may as well be with the way time's going. This isn't super old, this concrete, but it's already been, you can barely read ice over here. HW, whatever, ice and power plant. Pretty cool. Thinking about making ice in times past, ice factories and stuff is kind of a cool thing to think about. It really does look like some Willy Wonka thing though, huh? And now it had some like hipster clothing store in it. So much stuff was just empty. These places are dead. You can tell that these places are not the booming metropolises that they want you to think that they are. And sure, they can kind of get a crowd going if they have events and stuff, but you walk around these places, I'm sure New York City feels a lot different than Portland, but it really doesn't feel like a metropolis. It doesn't feel packed. Like there's scattered homeless people around. Honestly, the homeless situation seemed a little better this time. The last time I went to Portland, I heard people being like stabbed and people screaming bloody murder. This time, you know, you see the homeless people wandering here and there, but I didn't feel like I was packed in a super densely populated city. I mean, you see like one person walking in the shot. Some cool ornamentation. You see a lot of this type of ornamentation around here with on the top of the windows, the bricks go vertical. I thought this was kind of cool looking. I like the old fire escapes too. Hotel Governor. This was a lodge or a temple. Elks Lodge though. They usually call them Elks Lodge. Well, this one's a temple. Do unto others. So, you know, earlier, here there's a building with the V, the U that looks like a V. Maybe this is what triggered that guy. Maybe that guy was walking the streets and he was like, oh no, that message from Jesus, do unto others as thou would they should do unto you. And it just sent him. The Elks Temple. I really do love the way that the columns get larger in the middle. That look is so cool. It makes it look like they're bowing under the stress of holding up the building. It's such a cool look. I love it. Here was a cool one. This one looked Masonic. I don't know, some sort of restaurant on the bottom these days, but all of the ornamentation looked very Illuminati Masonic. Bishop's house. And with some graffiti. Hope you enjoyed the video. God bless everyone.